Hello, and welcome to this Real Geeks integration session. I am Chris Whitling, VP of Marketing at Real Geeks. Today, we are going to be talking about syncing your contacts across platforms and devices. But first, I wanted to take a moment and rewind. If you found this video, you probably know Real Geeks as a website, CRM, and marketing solution. But today, we're going to open the window, look a little bit deeper at some of the secrets that our Real Geeks best customers and industry leaders know. We are going to be talking about Real Geeks as a technology platform. The secret is that you can use Real Geeks as a hub so that you can continuously deliver value to your clients or hack your daily productivity. We're talking about connecting Real Geeks to other technologies to create solutions that are customized to your business. For now, this is going to be a productivity focused session. And with that, I'm going to introduce our guest, Gabe from API Nation. Gabe, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Well, my name is Gabe Hagstron. I work at API Nation, and I've been helping agents and brokers really boost their productivity by connecting their apps for 4 years now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm an agent. I got a phone full of contacts, and and anyone that's met an agent knows how that goes. And hopefully, they've got a CRM full of contacts as well. Yeah. How do we keep this organized?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. Yeah, hopefully you're an agent, and hopefully you have a phone full of contacts. Otherwise, we got to take some steps back.
Yeah.
And kind of really go back to the beginning. But yeah, so. If you are an agent, you got a lot of contacts. What you should do is integrate them. So for example, if you're using Real Geeks, you're getting all those contacts, you're getting all those leads coming in, and you want those to be better managed. You're going to want to integrate them with either Google Contacts or iCloud. And we're going to talk a little bit about the idea of the integration today. So yeah, that's what we're talking about, is organizing contacts. Because if you have organized contacts, you're going to organize some deals. So that's Real Geeks and Google Contacts or iCloud Contacts, depending on the phone you have.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So contacts, a big part of being an agent is having all those contacts, like Chris said, gathering them, getting them. That's actually a big part of Real Geeks, as I understand it, is creating more leads through your awesome websites and some of your great tools. And that's great. It could be kind of a double-edged sword, though. You're getting all those contacts, and now you just have a lot of stuff to manage. It can even be like a second job. Some people will offload it to an assistant, who then they have to do it. But we would just say, let's handle it with automation. Let's handle it with some integrations. So parts of the problem are, you get contacts. Where are they? Are they in my phone? Are they in my CRM? Are they in my marketing tool, my MailChimp, my Constant Contact? Did I get them through Eventbrite? Are they just in my Gmail? Where are they? So if you got to contact somebody, then you got to toggle through all these different apps trying to find them. And then once you do have them, sometimes they get lost in the cracks. So sometimes I will have a contact come in through, let's say, a Facebook lead ad. I'm running a Facebook ad. I have them, they come through, or a Google ad. I have that information. It's in Facebook, but I forget to add it to my Real Geeks. I forget to add it to any of my other platforms that I want to reach out to the contact in, which is bad, because then I've lost them. I've paid for that lead, and now I've just, it'll never be a deal. And then the last thing is,
definitely, if you know, I was gonna sorry to interrupt you. I was gonna say, as a customer of several real estate agents, I've definitely called them from my work number or something like that, creating yet more chaos.
Oh yeah, calling from the that's right. Who is it? That's the last thing, is the who is calling. If you're a real estate agent, if you're just a broker and somebody calls you, the worst thing, well, one of the worst things you can do is like, who is this again? Can you remind me? Ideally, you would be professional, have your contacts syncing across all your apps, including Google Contacts and iCloud, so that when somebody calls, their name shows up on your phone. You can answer the phone and say, hey, Chris, what's going on? I know exactly what you need. I can talk to you. We can hop right into this conversation. And you don't have to do the 45-second, 1 or 2 minute song and dance about, hey, buddy, how's it going?
And let me double down on that, because so much of the the real value that's inside the Real Geek CRM is giving you intel on when that customer is ready to talk. And so you put so much effort into being there at the right time. Exactly. Like having the phone ring and being like, who is this, would be, very defeating.
Yeah, yeah, it'll totally break the rhythm of, it is quite a bit of a rhythm taking this lead from start to deal and then on out. And if they're thinking, I've got this real estate agent, we're friendly, we're, I feel good about them, and then they call and you don't remember their name, it's gonna interrupt some deals for you for sure.
For sure.
But yeah, so that's kind of what we're talking about, is taking care of those problems, knowing where your contacts are, making sure they don't get lost in the cracks, and then having those contacts synced across all the platforms so that when somebody calls or you get an email from somebody, all that information pops up.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the way we do it, like I said, is through integrations. I do work for API Nation, where all we do is connect apps. We got a couple just core beliefs. We think 1 + 1 = 3, which is not just bad math, but it's actually just this idea that if you have one app, you take a second app, normally you have two apps. So let's say you have Real Geeks, you have Google Contacts, now you're twice as productive. But if you actually connect them, sort of the way these gears are connected, you're actually going to see exponentially more productivity because you don't have to sit there and manage all these different apps. We connect all these apps because we think your time is super valuable. It's the only non-renewable resource you have as an agent, as a broker. And part of that is the Just Work button. So when you go through and turn this on, we're going to go through and show you at the end how to turn it on. There's a big button at the end that says Start Sync, and you click that and it works. You don't have to call, your nephew who's good with computers. You don't have to call somebody across the world and say, what's going on with this? How do I figure this out? It's going to just work. And the reason it's just going to work is because we have worked with real estate agents. We work with Real Geeks. We've worked with people who are on the ground using this very specific connection so that it works in a very specific way for real estate agents and brokers.
Definitely. So, kind of coming back to the theme here, Kevin, the founder of Real Geeks, definitely spent a lot of time making sure that we had really deep APIs. You guys are API Nation. That's awesome. That's right. And when you look at some of the best interviews that are out there on the Keeping It Real podcast, or other Real Geeks places, you'll see like Craig Snyder talking about the power of APIs, and Lisa Shinati, who's done a bunch of work using these tools. But you're right. I love it. You don't have to know how to code. You don't have to have a development team with you guys. Would it be fair to say that you're like the Zapier of real estate?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. That's totally fair. Yeah. In fact, you can see this is kind of just a snapshot of some of the apps we connect at API Nation. You're going to see a lot of logos you recognize. Here's Real Geeks down there in the R section. But yeah, we focused on real estate apps because when we've talked to entrepreneurs everywhere, real estate agents and brokers use more apps than anybody else we talk to. You guys use up to 40 apps a day. So that is a lot of things to manage, which is why you guys also, a lot of you use virtual assistants or bring somebody on pretty quick to manage all this stuff, which is great. But we would like to be able to help you to scale in other ways so that the virtual assistants have more time to dedicate to profit generating activities instead of these kind of copy paste, import, export, kind of, not a lot of thought that has to happen, just busy work, sapping your minutes and hours every week.
I love that. That's going to be like the Instagram, title of this thing, which is like, automate the mundane tasks and have your assistants focus on generating profit.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're paying the assistant, you want them generating that profit. That's for sure. So a couple of things we're going to focus on. Integration, that is huge. We're going to take one step back and talk about how to manage your contacts. These are kind of the 4 steps we would suggest to get to, a successful contact management life. So the first one, choose a home. Like I said, you guys are using 40 to 60 apps every day. You're adding contacts into different apps. You are getting contacts coming in through different apps. At some point, you need to choose, what is my single point of truth. What is my home? What is the app that I am going to always make sure has the most up-to-date and accurate contact information? Obviously, Real Geeks seems like a great choice at this point.
Yes, that would be our preferred solution.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a ton of different tools in Real Geeks you can do that you can't do with the other apps. Google Contacts and iCloud are options for homes, but obviously they're pretty static. You're not going to be able to do a lot of the great strategies that are going to move these contacts towards a deal like you would in Real Geeks. So choose a home. Obviously, Real Geeks is our by far suggestion here. Make sure you get everybody in that Real Geeks database so that you can follow up and push them towards a deal. So that is number one. Any questions about that?
Makes sense.
Cool. So choosing a home, that's number one. That means that every lead you have from all the other apps, every contact you get from your phone, from Gmail, from Apple Mail, you want to make it so that it's going into Real Geeks. And the best way to do that to save time is by automating it. So we have two automations, one for Google Contacts, and one for iCloud. Obviously, if you're an iPhone user, iCloud is a great option. But an interesting thing is if you're an iPhone user, Google Contacts is also an option. It's just up to you. If you're an Android phone user, obviously Google Contacts is your only option.
So Gabe, I actually went and I pulled some stats out of the Real Geeks, data warehouse.
Oh yeah.
So I can tell our viewers out there that there's a better than 40% chance that Google is probably the answer here for you, even if you are an iPhone user. And that is because a large cohort of you already use Gmail addresses, or 22% of you use Google Workspaces, which is your own domain, but that feeds into the Google apps.
Yeah. If you're using that, it's a no-brainer. Use the Google Contacts sync. It's really if you have sworn off Google and you are strictly Apple and maybe Microsoft at this point, then you're going to use the iCloud. So that's the choice you'll make. Automating that. We're going to show you how to automate it here in a second, and then the last two things we're going to show you: squashing duplicates. Once you sync it to Google Contacts, you can actually easily get rid of all the duplicates. That's going to make your contact life a little bit better. And then using labels in Google Contacts is also a real time saver and kind of a nice productivity hack. So if you're not using that, that is absolutely something we're going to show you how to do effectively. So let's show you how to automate this. And the Google and the iCloud sync setup is going to be pretty similar. We're going to go ahead and do the Google one. And if there's any differences, I'll just point it out as we go through. All right. So I'm going to go straight to apination.com. And here at API Nation, you're going to just click apps and syncs up here in the top corner. And that's going to take you to all the apps we can automate for you. You come on here to Real Geeks. There it is. I'm just going to click through on that. And this will show you all the apps that Real Geeks can automate with through API Nation. So you can see we have a lot of Google Contacts, listing to leads, Outlook. If you want to get your Zillow leads or Realtor.com leads synced right into Real Geeks, you can do it here also.
That's huge.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and do this Google Contacts. So I'm going to click on that. So we've clicked on Real Geeks. We've clicked on its partner app we're going to set up, Google Contacts. In here you can see we have two options: sync Google Contacts into Real Geeks and sync Real Geeks back into Google Contacts. A really nice thing is, and then you can see up here it's $10 a month for agents. A really nice thing is the $10 a month. It's a flat rate. Doesn't matter how many contacts you send. If you send 10, if you send 1 million, it's going to be $10 a month. You don't have to worry about getting a big bill for your integration at the end of the month.
Love it.
Yeah, and also the $10 a month covers everything on this page. So if you want to set up both of these and set up a two-way sync, $10 a month. If you want to set up multiple Google contact syncs into Real Geeks leads, still $10 a month. So we do have a lot of agents who will set up this Google Contacts into Real Geek with a slightly different configurations, so that contacts in Google Contacts with different labels, for example, are handled slightly differently as they go into Real Geeks. But they can set up as many different configurations as they want, and it's all going to be under that same one subscription. So
what about multiple email addresses or multiple Gmail addresses?
yeah, once you start adding different email addresses or different Real Geeks accounts, it'll charge you for a separate subscription. So if you have a Real Geeks account, your buddy has a Real Geeks account, when you add his Real Geeks account, it'll just charge you for a second subscription, but he'll still be playing a flat rate. It's yeah.
Cool.
So we're going to activate that. And the first step is just connecting Google Contacts. And then we're just going to confirm we're not using any other apps to sync these contacts across to Real Geeks. So if you're currently using another platform, just hop out real quick, go pause it or turn it off. We don't want too many cooks in the kitchen sending over contacts into Real Geeks. You might get some duplicates that way. So, and if you get to this point, you're like, I have no idea what this is talking about. That's probably a good sign you don't have anything. You don't have anything syncing over. So just click that button. And then I'm just going to choose which Google account I want to sync. If you have multiple Google's accounts, just choose the one you want. This is my professional one, so I'm going to choose that one. And then it's just going to ask me to connect Real Geeks. Normally it would. Except Real Geeks is connected. There we go. Okay. Oh, that's right. Give me 1 second.
No worries. This is the behind the scenes stuff right here.
That's right. Yeah. This is the okay. Clear out that. Let me clear. Okay. So yeah, if we want to just pick up right after we connect Google Contacts. Okay, so we connect to Google Contacts. Now we're going to connect Real Geeks. We're just going to hit the big Connect Real Geeks account button. Here is the guide to connecting Real Geeks. You could go through it, have it open, and kind of open this in a new window. But it's pretty simple. You're just going to open this address in a new tab. So I'm actually going to hold Command or Control and click on it. There it is up there. And then I'm going to scroll on down here. And again, if at any point, you want a little bit more help, just go through the article. But I'm going to come on down here to the authorization key, highlight that. Copy that to my clipboard with Command C or Control C. And then I'm going to go over to Lead Router. That tab we just opened in a new window. Click Configure Destinations. Choose APINation.com. Come on down here to the API Nation tile and click Connect. And paste that authorization key from that other page in there with Control V or Command V. So there it is. Then just choose the agent you want these leads assigned to using this connection. So I'm going to go with my buddy Michael and save it. Now, if I come up to the top, I'll see I have this connection. It's running. If I wanted to pause it, I can just hit this tab, or if I want to change the agent, I can edit it. Either way. But once you do that, you can open up go back to the API Nation tab. This is that article, and then just scroll to the bottom. And at the bottom, there's a button to test connection. Just to make sure we've pasted it in. Looks good, successfully connected. It's going to pass us right along to the final step. So now we've connected Google Contacts, we've connected Real Geeks. They're connected on your account so that if you go through and set up any more workflows between these two apps, it's just going to get you right to this page immediately. There's no more setting up any connections here. Here's this big button we talked about at the beginning, the Just Work button, Activate Sync. If I wanted, I could just hit that, and the settings are currently set to the most popular settings for this integration. So it's going to give you the most popular setup. But I'm going to walk you through these settings just in case you have some other ideas about how you'd like to use this sync. So the first thing, very simple, contact group, like we talked about. In Google Contacts, you could set up multiple labels, and then you can have those treated slightly differently as they come into Real Geeks. This also works as a nice firewall in Google Contacts so that as people are added to Google Contacts, if you select default, for example, let's say I'm just having everybody from Google Contacts added to Real Geeks, that is great if your Google account is only for business, which is probably most of you, to be honest, and that's a good way to go. If you're using one Google account for maybe different businesses, or you're using one Google account for everything, you're probably going to want to set up a label or a folder in your Google Contacts called Real Geeks or Leads or something. That way you can send all your contacts into that label in Google Contacts, set it up so that as they come over, I'm going to go with new. As they come over, I'm going to tag them as new in my phone or in Gmail. And that tells this integration, pick these people up, throw them into Real Geeks. That way, if your auntie emails you, she doesn't end up in Real Geeks necessarily. But if, the person at the coffee shop you talk to, you add them in your phone, you can just quickly label them and they'll go in Real Geeks.
Excellent.
There's an option here for
your family probably does want your market update emails, but I don't know.
Some of the aunties do. Some of the aunties, they're still they're still stuck with the same real estate agent they've had for, sometimes blood doesn't run thicker than water. So
excellent. So you can use Gmail essentially to sort right there by just applying labels to contacts.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And like I said, you do not have to if you just want to skip that step and get everybody just select default. But from what I've seen, having just this slightly different step just to double check and make sure these are the people you want in Real Geeks keeps Real Geeks nice and clean, and you get the highest quality leads automatically added. So here's the option for sync all contacts on first run. It's not checked. So if we started this sync right now, the sync will just monitor from now on anybody who's added or changed in this group and send them into Real Geeks. But let's say you got a bunch of people in that label right now. They're not in Real Geeks. I want to go all the way back in time. Everybody who I've ever added to that group, let's get them in there. You can do that. Just check this box. That way, everybody who currently in that label is going to get copy and pasted and imported into Real Geeks, and everybody in the future. So this is great if you're trying to get everybody up to date. I'm going to come on down here to mapping.
If you're a new Real Geeks customer, that is probably the button you want to push.
Yeah, new Real Geeks customers. If you're onboarding anybody from your team onto Real Geeks, that's an easy way to get them connected. And then especially vice versa. So we're going to set up the Real Geeks to Google Contacts connection here in a second. It looks really similar. But I've talked to a lot of people who they onboard. They just set this up, and then they get all the leads pushed into this person's phone, all the real estate and vendor contacts pushed onto the person's phone. It's really, really handy. So you come on down here to mapping. Very simple. You can see we do most of it for you. First name, last name, mobile phone, email. If there's anything else from Google Contacts, any other information that you're adding that you want sent over to Real Geeks, you're just going to choose it on the left. Let's say home phone. And I want that to go to second phone. You can just click it on the left and then click it on the right. Also, if there's anything specifically you want to add, let's say I want to add a tag to everybody, I can do that. I would just come on down here to custom field. And this is going to send over the same piece of data with every contact. So I'm going to call this tags. And then I'm going to call this, sent from phone. I can do that. And then everybody who ends up in my Real Geeks through this integration is going to be tagged with that sent from phone so that I know where they came from. I'm not just wondering like, is that something that came through a Facebook ad? I don't remember. It's just a nice way. And yeah, and you also get the
That is
notes.
awesome.
Yeah,
I like you guys' UI on this.
yeah. It's nice and clean. It's very it's very reminiscent of the the kindergarten boop boop
Yep.
connect the apple with the word apple, and then we're gonna hit activate sync. So that's it. This sync is now up and active. If we want to set up the partner sync, I'm just going to click on the Real Geeks logo here. It's going to take me back to all the Real Geeks syncs. Come on down here to Google Contacts. And you can see we have the active sync right here. Just in case you forgot which one you set up. I need the partner, Real Geeks back to Google Contacts. I'll activate that. And this is very similar for iCloud also. iCloud does not have labels, so it's just going to send everybody from iCloud into Real Geeks and everybody from Real Geeks back into iCloud. So you'll just basically hit activate sync and go. But everything else, the mapping, everything else is going to be very similar. I'm going to go ahead and choose that same folder just for continuity sync. We also have this option in this sync, do not overwrite information in Google Contacts. If your Google Contacts has a lot of up-to-date contact information, go ahead and check this box. If, as we suggested at the beginning, the most accurate information is in Real Geeks, and that's where you go and update all the information, leave this box unchecked, because as you're updating people to the freshest and most updated contact information in your Real Geeks, somebody calls you and says, I got a new email address, or they reply back, you want that stuff to actually overwrite the stuff you have in Google Contacts.
So this comes back to your point of that singular point of truth. This is where you make that decision.
Yeah, exactly. This is why it's so important, because if you don't know where the singular point of truth is, you don't know who should be overwriting who. And in this case, we want Real Geeks to overwrite Google Contacts.
Sounds simple, but a lot of times I write that on a Post-it note and it's like, Real Geeks to Google Contacts. And then I just hang on to that so I can visualize it as I'm going through the steps.
Yeah, no, it's pretty key. Otherwise, you will kind of end up chasing your tail of like, this one's updating that one, and then you just keep updating Google Contacts, and it keeps getting overwritten by what is actually what you've chosen as your home. So
yep.
And then again here, if you want to add anything else to the left, just click it on the left and add it to the right. This looks great to me. I'll activate this sync. And there we go. I'm going to click on My Syncs. And I can see I have two syncs now running, Google Contacts to Real Geeks back to Google Contacts. If, like I said at the beginning, you think, I like that new label going in there, maybe I want to also have a second label going in with slightly different configuration. Just hit this clone button. It's going to create the duplicate sync. You'll just go through and make the slight changes. For example, let's go with hot. And then I'm just going to come on down here to my tags and change it from sent from phone. I could go, I'm just going to call it hot. Get that hot tag in there.
There you go.
And activate that. And I can do that as many times with as many different labels as I want, just so that as contacts come into Real Geeks, I know exactly what they're for. I know what's going on with them, and I can follow up with them in the most intelligent way. Cool.
Excellent.
So that is that is setting those up. Now that we have all those contacts coming into Google Contacts, the last two things I wanted to show you so that you have a successful contact management system is squashing the duplicates.
Oh, yes.
And we already talked about using the labels, so that is all set. Let's do that duplicates thing real quick. So you'll mostly see your Google Contacts on your phone. But every so often, you're going to want to hop onto a computer, go to contacts.google.com, or in Gmail, there's a big Google Contacts logo. You can click on that. And you're going to want to come here and just, double check, go through everything, clean some stuff up. It's a really easy way to do that. The biggest bonus here is this merge and fix area. So once everybody's syncing into Google Contacts has a great tool that goes through and says, hey, you got 50 people in here who look really suspiciously similar, and you probably, they all came from Real Geeks, so you probably have them in Real Geeks as well. It's not terrible, but it's better to obviously have contacts pushed together who are the same person. That way, you're not emailing their work phone, their work email, their home email, their fun email. You just hit the one email that they choose.
You know what? When we were talking about this before the show, this I thought was one of the best hacks that people could implement. It's for anyone that's managed a CRM for any length of time, that like that data integrity is absolutely huge. And when you start letting things get out of control, that can snowball over, a period of years. So it's definitely worth, checking in, maybe once a quarter, something like that, and just doing a little bit of tidying up.
Yeah, do a little spring cleaning.
Yep.
Here's as we're heading into the spring season. Yeah, just hop in here. You can see it pulled 43. 43 are currently in my contacts that look remarkably similar. You can just go through them and either merge them or say, you know what, those are actually two different people. Maybe they just, I got two Bob Johnsons, not uncommon. A lot of Bob Johnsons out there. Go ahead and just dismiss it. It's the same person. But as you go through, you are going to want to, keep track of who you are merging here, because as you merge them in Google Contacts, you will have to, in order to keep this completely clean and up to date, hop into Real Geeks and manually fix it there. We make sure these integrations don't ever delete any contacts. So if you merge it in Google Contacts, it's deleting it, but we don't want to tell it to delete it in Real Geeks for obvious reasons, because if Google Contacts, something happens, then Real Geeks goes away. We don't want that to happen, so we don't delete information ever.
Definitely. So if your kid grabs your phone and deletes all your email, we don't want that being reflected in the source of truth.
That's right. That's right. You just watch your business.
Yep.
Oh, well, it was fun while it lasted.
Yep.
So you just merge it and go through here. If for some reason your kid does delete everything here in your Google Contacts, and you are just heartbroken, you can absolutely go through and set up the sync from Real Geeks back into Google Contacts and get everything pushed back in, which is one way to fix it. Another easy way to fix it is here in the settings for Google Contacts. There is an undo changes button. So if something happens, somebody deletes everything, you go through and merge all these people and you forget who you merged, just go through here, undo changes. You can send it back in time, an hour, a week, up to 30 days. So it's a really nice tool to better manage your contacts in Google Contacts, which then informs your Real Geeks.
Excellent.
Cool. So that is it. That is those are the integrations. That's how we would suggest using them. That way you know where your contacts are. They're going to be in Real Geeks. That's where I'm keeping them updated. That's where the freshest information is. Contacts aren't getting lost between the apps because they're automatically getting pushed over. And now that your phone is getting all that information automatically, if somebody calls you, their name's going to come up. The caller ID is going to be accurate. You're going to be able to have a professional phone call and get right to it and be more productive that way.
Awesome. So I guess we're at the closing portion of this. So again, tell them where to go, apination.com, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Excellent.
From here, you're thinking, this is great. I got to set up my phone. I got to do this immediately so that my life is a lot easier and my agents and all my assistants can go start making me money instead of, just pasting names and addresses into different fields. Just go to apination.com, API, and then NATION. Find the Real Geeks tile, click on it, choose Google Contacts or iCloud, either way. It's going to get your phone updated. It's going to make sure you don't lose track of any of those leads or contacts. And yeah, it's going to make you more productive. $10 a month. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was going to say, or if you're on the Real Geeks site, which you might be watching this here right now, you'll be able to navigate through the nav into the integration section, find the API Nation, the Google Contacts connector, and go right there.
So you're on you go to the Real Geeks site, open up your CRM, and then over here on the left-hand side is settings, integrations. There we go. And then there's API Nation, and you'll just go set it up. like I said, flat rate, $10 a month for the Google contacts to Real Geeks and iCloud to Real Geeks. And $10 a month is pretty average for all the different integrations you saw there that go with Real Geeks. So Zillow, Realtor.com, MailChimp, Constant Contact. You just hop in there, click on those two tiles. You'll see the price up at the top, but expect around $10 a month for most of those.
Excellent. Yeah. And guys, this is, an awesome way to build, again, that custom solution for your business. So as we close this thing out, in the future, we're going to do more of these. We're going to do some advanced sessions with some really next level stuff that Gabe, and we'll bring in some of our coaching staff to help do that session. You'll want to follow our blog, subscribe to Keeping It Real, join the Facebook or their Facebook group, the Real Geeks Mastermind group. I mean, those guys are going to have a field day with this as they really start to dig through what can really be done. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what your users really take and run this because this is a tool, and like most tools, once the artisan gets it, really interesting stuff starts to happen. So I'm looking forward.
Excellent. Well, Gabe, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks so much, Chris. Take care.